Hi guys, welcome to episode 33. Today we are in a box at Manchester City. We have been invited by Phil Foden, the legend himself. We're excited to watch Man City play Leicester, and on this episode we're going to have a little bit of fun with the team as well. But look at this, the opportunity we have got here is incredible. Yes team, episode 33, and as I just discussed, we got invited to Phil Foden's box. We're going to get into that later on into the episode, but if you watched last month's episode, I did say we are going to dive in to the running costs of an operation of this size, how much it costs to set up a business like this, how much it costs to run a storage company like this, and whether it's lucrative. And unfortunately for us at Warren's, we are very, very quiet at the moment, so we're going to get into that as well. Okay, for anybody who's watching this who has never seen any of these episodes before and don't know too much about Warren's Removals, I thought I'd take it back to 2014 when I started a removals company in my garage, which then led into a storage operation as well. Okay, so obviously in 2014, I only had a removals company. I was hiring out a van, I was operating from my garage. I didn't have my eyesight on storage at this point. However, I've always lived on the motto of saying yes and figuring stuff out later. And what I did with that is I always said yes to any customer that asked about storage. I'd always say, yes, we've got it, and then I'd figure it out later. Then I got into a bit of a business relationship with a farmer nearby who started to buy shipping containers, which I started to rent off him. And that is how it all started. And then over the next few years, the farmer kept buying containers, and we got to 35 containers in total before he said, stop, I'm not buying any more. So then I had to look elsewhere. Okay, and then I started to strike relationships with more people in Worcestershire who had storage, and at one point we had over 120 shipping containers dotted around 7 different sites in Worcestershire. As you can imagine, this got pretty messy for us and very expensive. Warren's Removals at one point are spending around about £12,000 a month just to house all of these items in different locations. That is when it occurred to me, I'm ready for my own facility. During all of this storage mayhem, I'd transitioned into my first ever warehouse. I had 4 vans at the time, so as you can imagine, 4 Luton vans parked on my driveway operating from my garage wasn't sufficient enough. So I looked for a warehouse which didn't come with storage, because all I needed to do was house my vehicles and an area for the staff members to be able to park. This warehouse cost me £1,000 a month, and I signed up for a 2-year lease agreement. But what I should have done on reflection is taken my 4 vans there beforehand to make sure that they all fit inside, because the lease agreement was only parking the vans inside the warehouse. On day 1, when I took my 4 vans there, I realised we could only get 2 in. So it wasn't a very good start to our lease agreement with the landlord. So we had to muscle through for the next 2 years before we took on our second warehouse. So we moved from this warehouse, which cost £1,000 a month, and we moved to a new warehouse only 5 minutes away, which cost £1,550 a month. This worked better for us at the time because it came with containers attached to it, which I rented off the landlord additionally to the warehouse. The problem with this warehouse though is we had a shared access with different businesses. So as the company started to grow and we bought more vehicles, we were causing chaos in the mornings. This is when I really got into the mind frame that I wanted my own big yard, big space, and my own assets instead of paying into other people's pockets. That's when we made the decision to move here. So here we are at Inkborough. So I started looking for bigger warehouses with a lot of outdoor space so I can purchase my own shipping containers. But obviously to do all of this, you need a lot of capital behind you, which I didn't have because I was spending all of the business money on growing the business and buying more vehicles. So I had to also look at finance agreements and growth loans, which I ended up getting £250,000 for. I'd done all the calculations beforehand. I had to jump through quite a few hoops to get £250,000 because they don't just lend £250,000 to anybody. I had to go through business plans to get approved of this. But that capital obviously gave me the ability to buy all of the shipping containers and crates plus extra stuff on top. Okay, so we moved here in March 2021, which was around the COVID times. So the property market also had a stamp duty holiday, which meant we were extremely busy. So our £250,000 loan that we took out was required to buy all of these assets for storage. However, we were really busy anyway, so the business was doing well. So at the same time, I was buying shipping containers out of the business money, as well as other assets and additional things that we needed at the yard with the loan money. We actually purchased in total to date, so we've been here just over 4 years. We've got 55 20-foot shipping containers. We've got 9 40-foot shipping containers, and we have got over 250 wooden storage crates. This yard here costs us £80,000 per year, plus VAT. We have extended our yard since coming in 4 years ago. The first part of this tenancy agreement was 3 units plus the yard, but since then we've took on another yard around the back, which has increased our costs all the way up to £80,000 per year. Is storage lucrative? Does it bring in a lot of money? Do you class it as passive income? That is what I get asked quite a lot. The truth of the matter is no. Storage doesn't actually bring in that much money. However, we like storage because number one, it can win you work just having the offering of storage. And number two, you actually win 2 moves from one customer. So we quote for the move into storage and the move out of storage. But the storage cost itself, providing we are full here, and I mean full as in 100% capacity, yes, we do bring in good profit. But we are not always full. Currently, it is April 2025, and we have about 60% capacity, which means 40% is available, which barely pays the tenancy agreement. It only just about covers our rent costs. This warehouse doesn't just come with the tenancy agreement and the loan repayments, it also comes with business rates and additional insurance costs as well. Looking back on our accounting software, I thought it was interesting to find out we actually spent £198,000 on the assets to kit this warehouse out. We also know by looking at our accounting software that we bring in roughly £112,000 a year from storage customers. Now you can do the maths here. If we spend £80,000 just to service and operate from here, and we also have to buy insurance and additional costs to operate a storage facility, there actually isn't that much more money left on top. However, I will go back to what I said before. We win on the move to storage and away from storage, which comes under the removals accounting software. Not only that, but it's great for the company culture. It's an amazing place to operate. We're very proud of where we are, and all of the staff members can park quite comfortably here without getting in nobody's way. Also, it is a place we do like to invite our customers to, because we're, again, very, very proud of it. So when customers do come here, they are normally mind blown by how this operation is set up, how well oiled this machine is, and also just how professional it all looks. So if you are thinking of taking the leap into storage, please do it properly, and please also look at all of the costs before you jump into it.
The bin challenge. Winner.
Little iMOV update. Just wanted to say thank you to everybody who is supporting the journey. We have just hit 150 subscribers. We only launched 18 months ago, so we are overwhelmed with that, and we're happy that everybody is enjoying it. The newest update we've pushed is the job status update, which basically means you can customize your own job statuses and create your own pipeline for customers. So if you are a removals company and you're watching this and you are intrigued by IMOV and what it can offer, please do reach out to me. I will take care of the onboarding process. There's a link in the comment section below. Looking forward to chatting.
So for the past week or two, we've been pretty quiet here at Warren's Removals. It has been a bit of a shame for the business, but it has given us a good opportunity to focus on other things, such as floor painting and then the podcast and YouTube studio. So follow me and I'll show you around. So as you can see, it's a bit of a bare shell right now. This used to be our storeroom full of supplies, things we use every day. But we are going to change this quite a bit. So we've got plasterboard insulation to go around. There used to be a stud wall here that we've taken down. So yeah, it's quite a bit to do, but yeah, hopefully over the next week or two, that's going to be finished.
Okay, as mentioned on the intro, we were proudly invited to Phil and Becca's private box at Manchester City. Real pinch myself moment, and all of this came about because we've been doing lots of work for Phil and his wife recently. A couple of weeks ago, we did a move for Phil's mum. She moved into a new property, and during the move, I recognised that they still had their gym equipment set up at their old house. So I messaged Becca to see if I could do a deal on the treadmill, and then she replied saying she can't sell the treadmill individually because she's trying to sell the whole gym as a complete set. But she can give us 6 tickets to their private box, which obviously I jumped at the chance at doing. So I invited friends and family. We went to watch Manchester City versus Leicester City. The match ended 2-0. The experience was absolutely amazing, and my daughter spent the whole night playing and running around with their son. Hopefully that blossoms into a full-blown relationship and they end up marrying each other in the future. But again, if you're watching this, Phil and Becca, please keep inviting us to these boxes. That experience was amazing. Okay, I'm going to give you a grand tour so you can see exactly what we get for the rent that we pay. So in here, this is what we call the back office. We do monthly meetings in here with the admin team, profit and loss meetings. I also do all of my Zoom calls for IMOV in here. Plus we get little staff member meetings as well. So one-to-one meetings, pay rises. We also have to have awkward and bad conversations sometimes in this room. So yeah, this is what we call the back office. And this is our main office. So in here we could have potentially at one given time 6 members of staff working admin role. So we've got Luke, who's the general manager. We've got George, who's in control of business development. We've got Rory, who's the quota. We've got Esther, the office manager. We've got Tash, who's part director with me, and the accounts manager. So she's in control of getting the money in. And that's the office. Okay, and just behind me, you can see the IMOV logo. Right here is where we do our podcasts. However, we are changing things because the office is a little bit too busy at the moment to close it down to film podcasts. So at the bottom of Unit 1, which I'll show you in a minute, we are developing a new podcast studio. I'm looking forward to showing you that. Okay, behind me is Unit 1. Unit 1 is where we start our day and where we end our day in regards to the moves, what jobs we've got on. The guys would then reverse down in the mornings. They would load up all of their protectors, which I'm about to show you. And then in the afternoon, when the job's finished, they do it in reverse. They drive in here and they unload the protectors and roll them all up neatly. Follow me. At the moment, it is quite messy in here because we had a quiet week last week. So we've had staff members painting the floor. So half of this unit has already been done, which looks amazing. We've got quite a lot of crates in here. We've got about 35 in total. Generally, all of this is filled with wardrobe boxes, but we've had to shift them over here so we had the space to paint the floor. This dried out over the weekend. Then this weekend coming, we're going to do the opposite side. So we're going to do that side, put everything over here. So then by the end of next week, the whole unit will be done. Okay, this side of Unit 1 is what I just mentioned, the protectors and where we start and finish our day. So here on all this racking, we've got loads and loads of different protectors. We actually have around about 250 different protectors in total. We've got double mattress, king size mattress, door covers. This is single mattress down here. 4-seater sofas, 3-seater sofas, 2-seater sofas and armchairs. Quite a lot of picture mirror bags. Got dining chairs that sit there, table protectors, table leg protectors. These are banister protectors. We've got fridge freezers, TV boxes all down here. So just a bit about TV boxes. We've got plastic ones and we've got cardboard ones. And the reason that we've got cardboard ones is because when we bring people into storage, we use the cardboard ones, so we don't mind losing them to storage for a few months. Plastic ones are used daily. At the top, we've also got door frames, TV sleeves, and piano protectors. So pretty much got a protector for everything inside a house. Okay, here I am stood in the utility. In here, we've got a couple of tumble dryers and we've got a couple of washing machines. The reason for that is so we can wash our floor protectors, our blankets if they get dirty, plus any smaller protectors can fit in as well. But generally the bigger protectors we would take to the laundrette, which we do quite regularly. Behind me is the podcast room. We are currently undergoing a bit of a project renovation. So we're trying to kit out a whole new podcast studio plus filming studio. And the reason that we're doing that is because we've always filmed them in the office, but when we're filming 1 or 2 podcasts every single month, we have to do a shutdown. So we have to close the shutter. We have to ask the staff members to work from home. And obviously it's not a good look if customers turn up and want to get stuff from storage. So we're having to rethink our strategy. Plus the podcasts are being taken really well. Lots of people are asking to be a guest, so we now need to operate from a different area. So this suits us. Plus, again, it's quite quiet this week, and last week it was quiet. So over the next month or so, this will be done. Okay, here we are in a working environment. We have Jai screwing some stud wall in at the back. So this is going to become our podcast and our filming studio. So this used to be 2 rooms. We've knocked through here. Jai's going to put some stud wall in so we can put some plasterboard against it. Then we're going to debate whether we're having wood paneling or whether we're just going to paint it and then put the logo on it. Once all that's cleaned up, we're going to sweep everything out, and then we're going to look at the floor, see what floor we can put in here. So over here, this room used to be our stock room for all the van cleaning supplies. We had spare paper, tape and all that kind of stuff. So all of that has been distributed into crates, which we had empty. And this room used to be excess storage, which wasn't really used, if I'm honest. So we're going to make good use of this space, and it will become a podcast studio. Okay, here we are in unit 1 still. On my left hand side, I've got loads of pallets of boxes. We have always, at any given point, got thousands and thousands of boxes. The reason that they're here and it looks a bit messy is because we are painting, as I discussed. Okay, here we are in unit 2. As part of this whole site, we have 4 units in total. In here, we have 42 crates. Follow me and I'll have a bit of a talk about how we operate. So you can see in here, our warehouse space, we don't have the height to double stack or triple stack. So what we've had to do here is we've had to position all of these crates out in such a way where it actually works a bit of a self-store. So these crates don't actually get moved, and we just handball stuff to and from the van. Okay, here we are in unit 3, which is exactly the same floor print as unit 2. We've set it out exactly the same as well. We've recently had the floor painted in here, so it's actually my newest favourite unit. I'm really proud of this. We have got a couple of self-storage customers that use this facility as well. So when you get the floor painted, that's really good. Here I am on unit 4 yard. So this yard has a couple of different purposes. We park all of our vehicles here overnight. Also, we have additional storage here. So we have 4 20-foot shipping containers, and we have 9 40-foot shipping containers. Not only that, but we've got that warehouse you can see behind me, which is where we house all of our crates at unit 4. The great thing about this yard is it gives us plenty of room to grow, not just with storage, but with vehicles as well. Okay, this is unit 4. We have got a bit of height here, so we have managed to double stack. Currently, across all of the units, we have 230 crates. Unfortunately for us, not all of them are full. So we are just about managing to cover our rent at the minute. However, this is amazing to have because we've got the outdoor space as well. And finally, here I am stood on unit 1 yard. On this yard, we have 51 20-foot shipping containers. A lot of these ones are double stacked, so we have a portable staircase, which is really easy to move around. So that allows us to get to the top containers. We do have some self-storage customers that use this yard, so obviously we would always let them have the ground floor. So us as a removals company would use the top ones. As a removals company, we are obviously not afraid of steps, but when a bottom one becomes available, they are always preferred. On our yard, we have a 3,500 litre fuel tank, and we also have an AdBlue tank underneath that black cover there. As part of our policy, we use a company called Peninsula, and every year we get an inspection here. We get health and safety representative come out to make sure that we are compliant with everything. And on the last inspection, they told us we needed crash barriers around here. So we sourced these off Facebook Marketplace, collected them, brought them back, and we filled them up with water. Bit of a coincidence that this morning we had a fire risk assessment guy in checking out all of our fire compliance. So he pointed out a few things which we will action straight away, like signage above doors, etc. However, he did say that these are sufficient, and he's very, very happy. So that is a good box ticked. Okay, I'm going to talk a tiny little bit about bins. So here we've got new bins from the district council. And I'm only telling you this because a lot of removal companies probably watch these videos, and I think it might be quite interesting for your own business. So recently we came out of contract with a big corporate waste company, and instead of doing the easy thing and saying yes, we'd like to renew, we went shopping. And when I say we went shopping, we just made a few phone calls and we found out that the council do the best rates on these big bins. So we've got 3 of these bins now, 2 which is recycling and 1 which is general waste. And we actually saved ourselves £1,000 a year by doing that. So I'm going to continue the rolling theme and talk about how many inquiries we are receiving month on month. And on this video, I'm going to talk about March. March was a crazy month because of the stamp duty changes. And after speaking to Esther in the office, all of our tracking and our numbers are quite incorrect because we had a lot of phone calls in March from people asking for dates that were unavailable. So we didn't bother putting them onto IMOV. But in March, we had 127 inquiries, which is quite a lot considering not all of those moves would have fell into March. So as a business, we were expecting a busy April, but that's not the case. Unfortunately, we are on week number 2 of April and it's very, very quiet. We're a big business here. It costs a lot of money to keep this business moving, just to keep everybody paid, insurances and all that kind of stuff. So we need busy weeks. To be honest, if we had 1 quiet week in a month, that can be quite damaging. If we have 2 quiet weeks in a month, that can be catastrophic. We are on that 2nd quiet week. We've got a business here that needs £10,000 a week just to operate. So we need to be bringing in more than £10,000 a week just to make profit. And when you have no work certain days, we are definitely making a loss. So the 127 inquiries we had in March, we were hoping would spill into April, but that's not the case. However, when we look back on our years, our tracking tells us that the Easter holidays can often bring quiet patches. There has been a couple of years where it's been really busy, but on the whole, the Easter break does bring quietness because families don't want to be moving when they've got their kids at home. That's my understanding of what's happening currently. I try not to look too much into the market and the politics side of things. However, currently it's quiet, but hopefully May is busy. Just wanted to talk briefly about us being quiet at the moment. I always like to be honest on these YouTube videos, and it's not always sunshine and rainbows. It is tricky. At the moment, it's very challenging. This is a big business to operate, so we need a lot of customers coming through the door. What I don't like about being quiet is it showcases a couple of my different personalities. I call them business personalities. So I have a quiet personality and I have a busy personality. It's always hard to manage, especially when it's quiet, because these are the kind of times where you feel like the business is giving you a punch in the gut. In one way, this can actually be beneficial because it's good to be reminded that business isn't always easy. But like I said, I don't like showcasing different personalities. Oh, here he is, the king of quietness. Come on, mate, no need for that. I'm losing bloody sleep over here. Losing sleep? I haven't sat down in 3 weeks. Phones ringing off the hook, storage is full, vans flying out. It's like it's Black Friday. That must be nice. My phone's not ringing at all. I thought I'd gone flipping deaf. Checked the bloody SIM card twice. Come on, mate, it swings and roundabouts. This is what happens in this industry. 1 week you're buying a van, the next week you're trying to sell the fleet. Buy a new van? I'd be lucky to buy a pair of bloody van trainers. Come on, mate, cheer up. When it's busy, you're living the dream. When it's quiet, we get time to reflect. Well, I did reflect, and then I cried. And now I'm eating beans on toast. Beans on toast. I was eating steak last night at Salt Bay. Salt Bay, isn't he that celebrity? I remember when I used to move celebrities. Come on, mate. Even Man City lose. The stock market falls and rises. Eventually, the storm runs out of rain. Oh yeah, you're right actually. Come on then, let's do it. Yes, that's the attitude I've been after. Come on, let's crack on, let's get after it. Okay, I just wanted to spend a little bit of time talking about something that I'm seriously considering is taking on consultancy work for removal companies. And what's put this into my vision is I went to spend 2 days with a company in Bedfordshire 2 weeks ago. First of all, I really enjoyed it. And second of all, if they listen to the plans and the changes that I instructed and they implement them into the business, then I already know that the business can become a hell of a lot more profitable. So I thought I'd do a little talk on this little section because for one, I feel like I can offer a lot of value into removal companies. This company in question has been going 21 years, so not a new company by any stretch. But I learned that I can help any type of company because this company is a very well-established business, but I did see some cracks and they wouldn't mind me talking about this. I'm not going to mention who they are, obviously, but they wouldn't mind me talking about this because they actually asked if I was okay with posting on social media myself anyway. So I feel like I can add a lot of value to businesses. If you are interested, please do get in touch. I don't really have any pricing structure at the moment. However, get in touch because I'd like to understand what your problems are within the business and how I can potentially help. This is a little bit different to the training courses that I used to do here because that was more directed into the different areas of removals. This is more in depth, looking at the business, the finances, and how we can make the business more profitable. If this interests you, please do get in touch. You can message me on Instagram, Facebook, or you can even send a website inquiry on Warren's Removals. And that's it, guys. Episode 33. It is a wrap. We hope you enjoyed. As always, please follow us on Instagram. Or if you are moving within the area, please do get in touch via our website. And just before I finish this little part, if there's anything you want to see on the next episode, please let me know in the comments below because I need inspiration.